Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And the life is treating you most deliciously. Right, well, it's 10 past 2 in our old England, my delicious little babies, okay? And the sky is very grey. At the moment, it's not raining, but I'm sure that it will. If it's raining, it's raining. Okay, my delicious little babies, I'm sure that it's going to do a bit of that. It's not too bad, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. So, tiny bit of wind, but you can still wear your t-shirt. Okay, my delicious little babies, it's just that they do not want the old sun to crack out. Okay, my delicious little babies, now then. So I've got 3 different types of videos today, my delicious little babies, okay? And please, for those of you, my little beautifuls, if you could please and thank you, go on to our lovely, and with anybody not in that way, our lovely Alex Belfield, okay? He is on YouTube, my delicious little babies. He does have 339,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, but he too seems to be struggling where he should be having a lot more views and everything like this now then, but there seems to be a hold somewhere, my delicious, there we are, little babies, okay, my delicious little babies. So anyway, and you can also find him at alexbalfield.com, or is it at alexbalfield.com? I know it's one of them, my delicious little babies, but me personally, I happen to find him, there we are, banging. Do you understand what I mean? He just has me in stitches, my delicious little babies. Kai, he does not mean to offend. Do you understand what I mean? And as I always say, if somebody feels offended, well, what's the reason why somebody feels offended? So maybe, you know, not being rude or disrespectful, maybe they need to, there we are, go into themselves to spare a thought for the reason why somebody would be offended by certain things that he would say. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? There we are. That's just the way that I see it. But he's a comedian and he's, there we are, excellent, there we are, at what he does. Do you see what I mean, okay? And that's what we must remember here. It's not like he's completely taking the pee, like, say, out of somebody who's overweight or underweight or whatever the situation may be. It just seems to myself, my delicious little babies, okay? Ones just seem to get offended, there we are, with everything these days, my delicious little babies. It's flipping ridiculous, man. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, let's go to the first one. So this is on YouTube, my delicious little babies. And I've got to be honest, I feel that this will be, that doesn't mean no, just got an itch. You know, I just feel that, you know, especially, you know, it's really important for ones to see and it's really important for ones to hear. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, so this first one, oh, they're all on YouTube, my delicious little babies, kind. This uploader happens to have 311,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. And please let us not forget our lovely, not in that way, our lovely, there we are, UK column. Okay, so you can either go on their website or you could go on UK space column space news on old YouTube, my delicious little babies. I feel that they're up to, is it 13.4 or 13.6 thousand now? Okay, my delicious little babies, fan-dabby-dursy. There we are, that's what I love to see. I love to see numbers going up, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Anyway. So, right. And they're lovely, our UK column. I love my UK column. Do you know what I mean? Not in that way, like I said. Do you know what I mean? But I just love the content, the material, there we are, everything, what they give out, my delicious little babies. I have actually been telling others, and when I went to shop to Aldi's yesterday, my delicious little babies, I was actually telling others as well about UK column and everything like that now then. So yeah, so that's my advertising. So I may not wear any T-shirts or purchase, do you understand what I mean? But I advertise, there we are, in a different way, and I do all this, there we are, as a hobby. Okay, for myself, I do not like to advertise any bullshitters. You know what I mean? There's plenty there we are in the world, isn't there, my delicious babies? Consequently, this is why we've got in the flipping chart that we're in. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, this one here, I've never seen him before, is called Capital N in the old space bar in YouTube. Should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, nothing. Okay. Space with, it looks like lowercase there, W, space capital Billy with a Y, not an R. Okay, my delicious little babies. And then space more, capital M, more, M-E-R-E. So that's the upload of my delicious little babies. I'll just repeat that again. Nothing with Billy Moore. Okay, my delicious little babies. The video should read Epping, okay, outright thuggery and civil disobedience. Okay, my delicious little baby, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Epping, outright thuggery and civil disobedience. Okay, my delicious little baby, so that one's ticked off. That one's over 17 minutes long, my delicious little babies. Yeah, there's been plenty going on. I haven't been, in all honesty, I have not been following properly this story, my delicious little babies, but this is what's happening, okay? So, you know, it appears that like just join the dots, it's, you know, popping up here, there we are, and popping up there, okay, my delicious little babies anyway. So that's that one advertised, okay? But like I said, for these, I'll, you know, more or less be just one-offs that I advertise, my delicious little babies. Nevertheless, you know, it's good to get the information out. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, so the next one, my delicious little babies. Now this one here is nearly 9 minutes long, my delicious little babies, okay? And this uploader happens to have 35.3 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, and it is called, the uploader, capital N, sorry, he, no, N spells no. If everybody had said no, 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 there we are. We could have put a stop to this shot today. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? But instead it goes on and on. I just keep on trying. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? And of course we get no further forward, okay? No space, capital R, risk, space capital N, no, space capital R, reward. That's the upload of my delicious little babies. So it's no risk, no reward in the old space bar in YouTube, my delicious little babies, once typed in, should anybody once again have any form of an interest. The video should read, yeah, this is one. Apparently it has been circling, okay? Ireland, yeah, our poor Irish, bless them. Aggressive female employee, that doesn't mean no, verbally abuses and grabs customer of Dublin's Louise service. Okay, my delicious little baby, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? That doesn't mean no. Ireland, aggressive female employee verbally abuses and grabs customer of Dublin's Louise service. Okay, my delicious little babies, now then. So, well, whatever's right or wrong here, anyway, you just need to look at the video, my delicious little babies, okay? Your man here, who's the uploader, he breaks, so we are everything down, okay? And of course, you know, what he's looking for is one's thoughts on all of this, okay, my delicious little babies? But this woman here, she's actually saying, you know, I will be famous. When will I be famous? I can answer that. When will I see my picture in the paper? I can answer that. Yeah, bros. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? What year was the songs? You know what I mean, that I'm singing today, my delicious little babies, okay? What was going on? There we are in that year, okay? Anyway, she reminds me of like, I mean, because she is of a foreign nationality, Okay, my delicious little babies. I do agree with your man there, the uploader, that that she does speak decent English, my delicious little babies. But I also agree with what he also said, my delicious little babies, were the word please. Now, for myself, and I'm not being rude, and again, that doesn't mean listening is the key. Okay, my delicious little babies, I got the key, I got the secret, I got the keys to another place. Okay, my delicious little babies. But I have noticed myself, so this is not rude, disrespectful, racist, or prejudiced. Anyway, anybody who knows me knows that I'm no such thing, so I don't even need to cover that. Okay, my delicious little babies, what I'm saying is, I have noticed myself over the decades, and even up until this day, you see, you have many who will say please, thank you, be courteous. And then you got others where they do not understand the word please or thank you. Now then, going back many years ago, there we are, my delicious little babies, okay, one would say, and I do, there we are, know all about this, one would say that, that was brought in, that you must say please and you must say thank you, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Okay? But the fact of the matter is that, and what they also say, is that that was designed, like in other words, I cannot remember where I've seen it now. There we are, just joined the dots, I'm going back years and years and years, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But where, like, like you're taught to say please or thank you, but let's just say others who appear to, that they call higher, apparently, well, they simply do not have to say please or thank you, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? For myself, I was always brought up to say there we are, please and thank you. Be courteous, hold the door open, you know what I mean? So if you see somebody, or you see somebody struggling with the shopping and you have got the ability to help them, Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, Kai? But I have noticed, and this does happen, we could say about the English, yes, but I do not know many English, my delicious little babies, who do not use the manners, because for most, so we are, they use their damn manners. But there are a lot of foreign. So again, I'm not being rude or disrespectful. I'm just done telling it the way it is. So when I was hearing this, I thought, yes, she's no different now, little split arse, to many. I'm not calling them split arses, whatever. I'm just saying they do not understand the word please or thank you now. So I totally, there we are, wholeheartedly, I'm in agreement with that. Okay? Especially when we have our way of doing things in our old England, my delicious little babies, okay? But your woman here now then, oh yeah, she'd be famous, but not for the right reasons, my delicious little babies, okay? But she is what she is, isn't it? And I say it in my camera, the woman is a split arse. So call me raw, there we are, but that is what she is. And she's throwing her weight around. Do you see what I mean? Okay, like I said, she reminds me of someone who looks like in is it like Sri Lanka or something like this now? Then anyway, for Mercer's Sri Lankans, they're pleasant and everything. I'm talking about the way she looks, okay? But she clearly has an issue. And when I was watching the video, my delicious little babies, you know what my thoughts was? Imagine being her boyfriend or her husband, and how dictatorial she is. But what is she? She's a woman in a flipping fancy dress uniform, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? She's what you call, what do they call it in Jamaican, my delicious little baby? She's what you call a little tallower woman, which means that she's smaller, but she can be feisty. Do you know what I mean? That is how she is, my delicious little babies. That's how she come across to myself. But correctly so, with what your man said on his video, that if you look at the other men, in their uniforms, their fancy dress, they knew how to, there we are, to step back from this. Do you see what I mean, okay? But all she kept saying was, what you going to do? What you going to do? Do you see what I mean? She seems to myself, my delicious little babies, if you was to watch the video, please and thank you. Some of you may have already seen it, but others of you, my delicious little babies, may not have done. To me, it seems like, there we are, she's got a bit of a chip on her old shoulder. Do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies, okay? But for myself, There was no need, I totally agree with the uploader, that we are to behave in that manner. But this is what it's about, Mardelistic babies, do you know what I mean? And of course, very sadly, that's what you bring into the countries, isn't it? Well, it's not the populations, it's the putrid governments, there we are, who bring this in. Mardelistic babies, you know what I mean? Then you end up with thirsty bitch now like that now, then, do you see what I mean, okay? And she was getting a bit too close to your man there now, the one who was filming. The fact is, what right does she have? She doesn't have a right to be done carrying on in that way. Mardelistic babies, you see what I mean? But can you see how this rocks and there we are, how this rocks and rolls, Mardelistic babies, do you know what I mean? Damn rank, man. The woman needs to learn some respect, isn't it? Now then, finally, my delicious little babies, okay? So what do we have here? Right, okay. This one has not long came up on my feed. All of these, in fact, my delicious little babies. In fact, there was one because I was listening to our lovely Alex Belfield. And then, of course, I scrolled down, and that's how I came across the Ireland one and the Epping one. That doesn't mean my delicious little baby's just got an itch. This final one has 10.9 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies. Now, for some of you, my little beautifuls, again, you may have seen this, but for our other little beautifuls, you may not have done. Okay, all I'm doing as a hobby, as I always explain, is giving out the information. That's all I do. Nothing more and nothing less. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? Do you remember that Hovis? I just got Hovis for some reason. You know that Hovis advert in our old England? You know, it's a really old advert, and it was to do with Hovis bread, my delicious little babies. Anyway, now then, this uploader is called Sydney, capital SYNDEY, space, capital J for Jones. Me and Mrs. Jones, do. We got a thing going on. I've got my singing voice on today, my delicious babies. What year was that song? I wonder. I wonder why. Okay, my delicious babies. So, should read in the old space bar once typed in. Should anybody once again have any form of an interest? Sydney Space Jones. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, the video should read. And by the way, this the likes is 28,000, 28 grand. My delicious babies. Okay. And the comments are 6.2 thousand. Okay, my delicious little babies. So this is certainly brought, there we are, some attention. Should read, former migrant hotel employee speaks out. Okay, my delicious little babies. I'm just going to repeat that again for you. Former migrant hotel employee speaks out. Now I'm going to close my book. All ticked off. Just checking. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then. Oh, and what I just want to say before I say anything else, okay, yesterday, what I was wanting ones to do when I mentioned the 3 songs is look at the colours that one's wearing, look at the shoes that they're wearing on the dance videos, especially that China, the Chinese one, my delicious babies. You need to be paying attention to the colours. There's a lot of yellow mellow. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, so now I'm going to close my book. So what do we need to do? We need to go back to where we need to go back to. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? So now I'm going to close it. This video here is 6 minutes and 11 seconds long, my delicious little babies. Okay, now this is a former employee. Oh, what do I do, my juicy little lads? Thank you, little lads. You're delicious and bright, yes. This Ginger. I've just got Ginger. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, he's a former employee, and of course, he explains very, very, very briefly as well that he did night shift, day shift. Okay, so we're seeing what's going on. Now, in this video, my delicious babies, he also mentions, you know, like these hotels being paid, that particular hotel, 2 million, sorry, do forgive me, 2 million a year, my delicious babies, okay? Imagine what that could do, there we are, to help our country. My delicious little babies, you know what I mean? When, of course, our putrid governments tell everybody, and they think we're damn fools now. I do not like that word, but sometimes we have to use it. That we ain't got a pot to pee in. Okay, my delicious little babies, but they compare this kind of ka-ching, ching, ching, this kind of change. Pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so let's fast forward. So he also mentioned that the staff, both the men and the women, okay, they were asked, so the men couldn't wear shorts, okay, this is staff in these hotels, you know, waiting hand and foot on these, okay, my delicious little babies, and the women had to be dressed in trousers, and anyway, you know, with a minimal skin being visible, okay, my delicious little babies can. Now, I fully got where, he's only a young man, bless him, not in that way, not in that way, but I fully, there we are, got where he was coming from, okay? Because we do not want it to go down that road, my delicious little babies, okay? Right, so they're telling that young woman there now, or that young man who was staffing in the hotel when he was there, that you cannot dress in a certain way. Damn rank, man. You should be, there we are, able to dress the way you want to. But can you see where this is going, my delicious little babies? Well, I'm not going to follow the leaders, and I'm not going to be done doing myself told either. No, I am not. So if that's the case, bring it on, isn't it? Because I'm not doing it. And anybody who I know, as far as I'm aware, if I was to ask them out in the street now, then could be anybody. I'm pretty sure that they, too, there we are, would say no. But can you see how it starts? Okay, they've done it in other countries when they used to wear miniskirts. I've seen the videos anyway, long time. And then before you know it, you're dressed to flipping from here to here now. You see? Well, that won't be happening with myself. And let me tell you, I'll tell you something else as well, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? If I was working and I was a woman there, I would have told them to mind their own damn business. Do you know what I mean? Don't tell myself, because you come from a different country now, how to damn well dress. Damn rank, man. Do you see what I mean, okay? And that is my view on things, okay? And I certainly, with anybody, including my beautiful baby daughters, let me tell you, they wouldn't be dressing like that. I do not give a damn. When I brought them into the world, they dress the way they dress now, isn't it? Not to be told, oh, you've got to dress this, you know, to keep everything covered up. Women are beautiful creatures. My delicious little babies, I'm not saying creature in the wrong way, okay? We are beautiful, each and every one of us. Should we be covered from head to toe? So all you can see is your eyes? I don't think so. And my heart goes out to these poor women. You see what I mean? If you go on YouTube, my delicious little babies, there's plenty videos where, you know, okay, you do get some, whether it's a high, what do they call it, hijab, or okay, and they're happy to wear that, okay? So I'm not saying anything rude, disrespectful. I am not. But you've got others, and it's a burning heat, and they're dressed from here to here. Come on, nobody can tell me now then, because we've all got the same blood running through our veins. Nobody can tell myself, right, that is, there we are, normal, that they're not going to get hot. Because anybody would. If it's sunny, ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense. I'm not saying that to you, my delicious babies. It's common sense. You wear a T-shirt, or you wear, do you know what I mean? You go to the beach, you know, you'd wear probably a bikini or something like this now. Okay, my delicious babies, okay? That's how it should be. But no, it seems to myself there are too many countries now coming in, and I'm not being rude, my delicious babies. I'm not being disrespectful. I will talk to any colour or creed. Because after all, take the colour away, we're all the same. There we are. Okay, my delicious babies. The fact of the matter is, no. You start this crack now. I've known anyway a long time. You start this crack, and it's going to get, there we are, 1,000 times worse. So what you do is, there we are, you nip it in the bud. But if I was working there, my delicious babies, let me tell you, they would have got more than a mouthful from myself, and I do not care that they're big man now. Do you see what I mean? Not at all. After all, my dad is an ex-army man. Do you see to me? I was brought up with a man. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. And he's a man. So at the end of the day, my delicious little babies, that's how I feel on it. Don't do what you do in your own countries and bring it onto our shores. Damn rank, disgusting business. But to listen to this young man, yes, and you should see some of the comments. I only seen some of them, my delicious little babies, okay, before I did my video, because I looked at another couple of videos after so that I can give you the information, my delicious little babies. But no, this has got nothing to do at all with racism, prejudice. What? We cannot say nothing. So when they want to bring in all these changes, like they want to bring in Sharia law, if ones understand, there we are, the true meaning of Sharia law, what that really, really, truly, truly means, over in New York, do, 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 do. Okay, my delicious little babies, there's plenty going over there now. Plenty going on. And you only have to listen to our lovely Not In That Way, Not In That Way, our lovely mornings with Mel Care on Rumble. Okay, and she's our lovely little Mel and her dear partner Rob, Not In That Way, Not In That Way with anybody. And you need to listen. She does a lot of research, you know, my delicious little babies. There we are, a hell of a lot of research. She's banging his little Mel and dear Rob, they're banging. And you hear, there we are, the truth is what is going on. You know, and even for herself, bless her beautiful, dear little soul, she's really worried, you know, about to do with this Sharia law. And really, there we are, everybody should be. Because if you look at different countries, and again, no disrespect to different countries, but they have a different way of how they do things. Over here, we do things differently. This is very serious, my delicious little babies, okay? Because let me tell you, they want to bring everything in now then. Very serious indeed. And that's where I'm going to leave my video, so I'm not shouting at you, my delicious little babies, okay? But yes, I mean, you bring in these migrants, they have a different way of how they live. And for a lot of them, they do not understand the word please or thank you. They do not understand that word. And then, of course, you know, you've got some, I'm not saying about all of them, no, I'm not, but you've got some now, they don't mind going up to a young lass and carrying on the way they do now then. Because like in some of these foreign countries, my delicious babies, it's like they can do whatever they want to a woman. She cannot have any say in anything. What, and they want to bring the dirty business here? They've been doing things long time. Ones need to understand what the hell is going on here. But for myself, you could stop the births today. There we are. You could just be done doing it. Just do not ramp. Send them damn well back. And put it this way, if they've got the ka-ching, 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 pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change to be crossing, isn't it? Then why are they getting everything free when they come? When we've got homeless, when we've got dear families, dear homeless, you know, who need help. You know, they need housing. But no, you've got others coming over and they're getting the houses. How does this work, my delicious little babies? Call me illiterate. I do not believe that I am. But something is seriously, there we are, damn well wrong. But if you speak out and you say, well, this isn't correct now, you get called racist or you get called prejudice. And for anybody who's on First, who does videos like myself, then there's no such thing. Anybody who knows any of us would know that we're not racist or prejudiced. But can you see how they throw the words around? There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, so until my next video, my delicious little babies, sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. But please, if you haven't listened to that video, please listen to it. You know, it's a young man, you know, young family man, and he's just done explaining it in 6 minutes and 11 seconds, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so until my next video, please take care of yourselves now. Please try to take care of others. You know, this word racism, prejudice, these words are going to be stopped now. Okay? Because it is allowing, there we are, very, very not so nice things coming in. my delicious little babies, okay? So you just take care once again. How I love you so. Thank you very much for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments, okay? And also, please, if you do see clouds in the sky, just see what you can see. Do you see what I see? Okay? Got to see how it's so close from up there to here, where we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. Shoulders all across here, and yet I'm warm. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, love ya. Thank you for listening. Once again, goodbye.